HMS Eclipse was an E-class destroyer of the Royal Navy that saw service in the Atlantic, Arctic, and Mediterranean theaters during World War II, until sunk by a mine in the Aegean Sea on 24 October 1943. Description: the E-class ships were slightly improved versions of the preceding D-class. They displaced 1,405 long tons at standard load and 1,940 long tons at deep load. The ships had an overall length of 329 feet, a beam of 33 feet 3 inches and a draft of 12 feet 6 inches. They were powered by two Parsons-geared steam turbines, each driving one propeller shaft, using steam provided by three Admiralty 3-drum boilers. The turbines developed a total of 36,000 shaft horsepower and gave a maximum speed of 35.5 knots. Eclipse carried a maximum of 470 long tons of fuel oil that gave her range of 6,350 nautical miles at 15 knots. The ship's complement was 145 officers and ratings. The ships mounted 445 caliber 4.7-inch Mark 9 guns in single mounts. For anti-aircraft defense, they had two quadruple Mark 1 mounts for the 0.5-inch Vickers Mark III machine gun. The E-class was fitted with two above-water quadruple torpedo tube mounts for 21-inch torpedoes. One depth charge rail and two throwers were fitted. 20 depth charges were originally carried, but this increased to 35 shortly after the war began. Service history: Operation Menace. In autumn 1940, Eclipse was deployed as part of the protective screen for troop ships sailing to West Africa in Operation Menace. She returned home to join the 3rd Destroyer Flotilla after repairs, first at Freetown, Sierra Leone, and subsequently at Gibraltar. In this period, one member of her crew was Charles Causley, the Cornish poet and broadcaster, who served as a coder. He subsequently published two poems about the ship and this voyage. HMS Eclipse approaches Freetown, an immunity which recounts an inoculation session and then anticipates the ship's loss later in the war. From the 12th of April 1941, Eclipse was refitted at Devonport Dockyard, sailing in early June to rejoin the 3rd Destroyer Flotilla. On the 25th of June she was deployed to protect the ships of the 1st Minlaying Squadron during a mine-lee in the Northern Barrage, replacing the destroyer Brighton, which had been damaged in a collision with the cruiser Kenya. At the end of July she was part of the destroyer's screen of Force P, the carriers Furious and Victorious, and the cruisers Devonshire and Suffolk, during the raid on Kirkenes and Petsamo. Operation Gauntlet. In mid-August, Eclipse and 5 other destroyers were deployed as the screen for the cruisers Aurora and Nigeria, as they escorted the troop ship Empress of Canada and the auxiliary tanker Oligarch to Spitsbergen. In Operation Gauntlet, Canadian troops landed to destroy mining equipment and 2 radio stations, while Norwegian and Russian civilians were evacuated. Operation Gearbox. Eclipse remained on screening duty from June to August, transferring to the 8th Destroyer Flotilla in July. In September she was deployed with the destroyers HMS Amazon, HMS Bulldog, HMS Echo and HMS Venomous as the screen for the cruisers HMS Cumberland and HMS Sheffield to establish a refueling facility at Low Sound, Spitsbergen, and resupply the garrison there. She then refitted at a shipyard on the Humber River before rejoining the flotilla at Scapa Flow on the 20th of November. Sinking of Gaetano Donizetti. The Italian Gaetano Donizetti of 3,428 tons had been confiscated by the Germans to bring arms to Rhodes. The Germans stowed some 1,600 prisoners in the cargo hold. Gaetano Donizetti set sail on the 22nd of September 1943. The vessel sailed along the east coast of Rhodes, and headed southwest, passing Lindos to the south. The Italian ship was escorted by the German torpedo boat T-10 under Oberleutnant Jobst Tandor. This was the former French torpedo boat Le Pomone and later the Italian FR-42. Around 1:10 that night, the convoy was detected by Eclipse under Commander E. Mack, who immediately opened fire. Gaetano Donizetti went down in seconds, taking with her the entire crew and all the Italian prisoners of war. T-10 was heavily damaged and later towed back to Rhodes, where it was scuttled a few days later. Demise. On the 24th of October 1943, Eclipse hit a mine east off Kalimnos in position 37.017 degrees north, 27.183 degrees east, 37.017, 27.183. She broke in two and sank within 5 minutes with the loss of 119 of the ship's company and 134 soldiers. Bibliography. English. John. Amazon to Ivanhoe. British Standard Destroyers of the 1930s. Kendal, England. World Ship Society. ISBN 0-905617-649. Friedman, Norman. British destroyers from earliest days to the Second World War. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Institute Press. ISBN 978-1-59114-0818. Lenton, H.T. British NAMP, Empire Warships of the Second World War. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Institute Press. ISBN 1-55750-048-7. Rowe, Jürgen. Chronology of the War at Sea 1939–1945, The Naval History of World War II. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Institute Press. ISBN 1-59114-119-2. Whitley, M.J., Destroyers of World War II, An International Encyclopedia. Annapolis, Maryland, Naval Institute Press. ISBN 0-87021-326-1. Christopher Shaw's, Brian Cullen, Nicola Milizia. Airwar for Yugoslavia, Greece, and Crete. London, Grub Street. ISBN 0-9488170070.